We're talking about love today because there's another type of situation going on that I think a lot of us deal with it. I mean, I've been there before. I've been there, with a really cool guy, but maybe something in the bedroom doesn't fully match up. And then you wonder, how do you have these conversations? How do you say things to someone without making them feel away, without making them feel bad, and also how to understand other people's apprehensions? So I, of course, had to get my friend on the line for this because I'd rather talk to no one else other than Coach Wayde. So yeah, Coach Wayde.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hi, Coach.
What's going on?
What's good? What's goodly good? How you doing?
You got me on an off day. I'm on vacation today. So
what you doing today? Where you at? Cabo?
I'm at home. But
that is not a vacation.
I have to go for my run, so it's been a little bit of an off, so I'm not in my suit today.
That is not a vacation. You said you're home, you're going for a run. Where is the rum punch? Where is the glass with the umbrella? That's a vacation.
Usually at this time I have clients, I have meetings, so I don't get to go running at this time. This is my off time now, and I am contemplating.
Then call it your off time. Don't call that a vacation, because you are not vacation, and that's not how vacations go.
That's what my out of office reply says. It says I'm on vacation.
Yeah, man, you are a work addict. That's what you are.
I am a work addict.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a serious topic. I mean, and a lot of times, even in adulthood, I see a lot of adults cringing at the sex talk, which, yeah, I mean, some of us still cringe at certain things, but there are still adults who still can't even talk about sex. You know what I mean? So let's talk to them for a bit. If you don't feel that your needs are being fulfilled in your relationship, different reasons, whatever it may be, how do you engage that conversation with your significant other? How do you begin that without offending them?
Sexual compatibility is actually a very, very important thing in relationships.
Hold on, say that one more time to make sure they hear you.
I'll say it one more time. Sexual
Louder.
Compatibility is extremely important in relationships, especially if one person has a very high sex drive and present company included.
Just saying.
You have to make sure that the compatibility is there, and fluidity as well when it comes to sexual compatibility is important as well. When I speak about fluidity, I mean, being open to doing and trying and exploring and different options and different things, as long as you're comfortable within that realm. What we tend to do, and this is a phrase, I should coin it by now, is that expectations without conversations lead to disappointment. And a lot of times we have expectations and we hope that certain things are going to turn out a certain way and everything else is fine. The conversation is great. The kissing is great. The rubbing and petting and all that kind of things are great.
And
but when we get down to the deed, it may not work out so well. And part of that is we didn't really have a conversation. He doesn't know what you expect, and she doesn't know what you expect, and she doesn't know what you like, and he doesn't know what you like. And, we jump right into it, but we don't first get into that conversation.
I mean, but shouldn't it be a natural flow, though? I mean, just devil's advocate question.
There is such a thing as a natural flow. And again, that's where we could potentially lead to disappointments. If we don't have conversation. Part of your getting to know each other could be a conversation around sex. Why can't we have a conversation around sex before we even get to sex? Why can't we have a conversation about your favorite things that you like, the favorite positions, your favorite? Why can't those be part of the conversation that leads to the enticements? Because there's certain things that you might like a lot when it comes to sex, and you might want to find out prior that your partner does not do those things, and then you have to evaluate if do I even want to move forward, because for some people it's a huge thing. If you don't participate in fellatio or cunnilingus,
and some people find that to be selfish. Like I've heard people say things like, that shouldn't be what's most important, blah 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 blah. But everybody's different, and for me, I would have to say that it would have to be good in bed, because I would not be a faithful person. I'd probably leave you. So what's the point?
And that's where the conversation
what's the point?
Into.
Yeah,
that's where it turns into that. If you're not satisfied in one aspect, then you might have your partner step out in another way, and that's where the fluidity comes in.
Yeah, some people are okay with that.
Sorry, say again.
I said some people are okay with that. I mean,
are they though? Are they okay with it, or have they just settled? And have they just come to terms with the fact that this is as good as it's going to get? And I think that's where the misconception comes in, that just because someone accepts something doesn't mean that they're okay with it.
Okay.
They've just come to terms that I may not get anything better than this.
Okay.
However, when someone whispers in their ear or a friend chokes them a little bit, then, that might, Wait, did I say too much? Okay.
No. Not at all. Not at all. All right. So like, okay, say you were in a relationship and,
Right.
You guys didn't engage in any bedroom activity for the first beginning of it. And you guys really have a great connection. But then when it
Right.
comes down to that now, it's just sloppy poppy. It's just, it's just not what it's supposed to be. I mean, is that like a deal breaker? How do you, what do you say? I mean, how do you even know who's to blame in it? I mean, where do you go?
And I think that's a really good topic to bring up. I don't necessarily know if it should be a deal breaker. I think a deal breaker should be if this person is not open to the prospect of coaching. If the person's not open to the prospect of trying something different or trying something new. If they're not open to being coached or trying something new or adapting, because maybe it's just adapting to a different way of doing things. If they're not open to that, then they may also not be open to other things within the relationship that might be necessary, that is outside of sex. They may not be what's the word, compromising. They may not be willing to compromise.
They might be way too frigid and not the kind of free spirit or freer spirit that you were kind of hoping for.
That's where the fluidity part comes in again. When I speak about sexual fluidity, being open to the fact that, okay, I've been doing this for a while this way, and all other people liked it, but now this person doesn't like it. Am I going to just keep ramming the same? Oh, I'm sorry, I got to remember where I am. Am I going to keep going the exact same way, or will I be willing to slow down a little bit, to adjust a little bit?
You can keep ramming on the same way if you want to. I mean, that's just moving forward, isn't it? I'm just saying.
I mean, okay, so you might have one person who likes hard and fast. And then you might not have another person who doesn't like hard and fast. They want you to be more gentle, be more romantic, and be more softer. And just because you consider yourself a bad man, tuggy, does that mean that you can't adapt?
I feel like that's a big problem nowadays, especially for the younger generation. I feel like a lot of them learn their skills from the hub. You know which hub I'm talking about.
I know the exact hub you're talking about. Yeah,
it's my favorite go-to spot at nighttime.
That's not real life, though. That's not.
No, it's not, and I don't think they know that. Like, I watch it knowing that's not real life, but I don't think that they watch it not understanding that it's real life. And I think another big problem, not to jump on the men, because I'm sure women have our shortcomings in the bedroom as well. But I think, but I think a lot of men really have it in their heads that act is more about them. They don't stop and wonder, well, if she's doing all this to make sure I'm happy pappy, how can I make sure she's just as happy pappy? You know what I mean?
And the flip side of it as well too, a lot of women watch the hub, and they also see how sloppy that some of the women go and some of the things they do, and not realizing that that's all for show. It's not necessarily how everyone wants it to be.
You do that in real life. He's not looking at you as a wife. He's looking at you as,
right. And I think you have a great point that we have to realize that that's not always a true reflection of real life. It's not what it works out to be, and you have to adapt to your partner. You have to learn about each other, just like you have to learn each other's conversational style, just like you have to learn each other's personality. You have to learn each other's sexual personality, and it may take a few months for you to get on a level that is just so natural.
It takes time. It takes time. So even if you're weirded out, first time, if you like the person,
don't judge it by the first time. The first time could be an anomaly. It could be that it's just getting to understand. Give a person another chance. And then again.
Tell me what you think, but I think personally a good tactic for couples to really really mesh and get to know each other is to have intimate sit with each other naked, like just touching but not fully doing anything in the act for a while. I've done that, and I find it to be really good. Because
you have a lot more willpower than I might have then to do stuff.
Oh, it ain't got nothing to do with willpower. It has all to do with control, and I like how it works.
Okay, so in theory, it's a great concept. Matter of fact, it's something that I employ in counseling as well too. I employ it in counseling that I tell people that when you're going through a rough time or you're going through arguments, you know what you do?
What?
Get naked and sit down and talk to each other. And
No,
the reason why I do that is
I didn't say talk, but you know that.
because you know what, it's vulnerability.
Exactly.
Remember what we, and I know you may not be as religious as I might be. When we spoke about the Bible, they said one of the first shame is when Adam realized that he was naked and he went to grab clothes because he was embarrassed.
Yeah.
And that's where taking off the clothes again in those situations, it brings you to being vulnerable. You are naked as the day you're born, and it allows for you to actually get more emotionally connected with the person that way.
Absolutely.
So to piggyback on what you're saying, this in theory is a great option to kind of sit there and talk without the action about what you actually like and what you would like the person to do to you and what you would do to the person if you were to actually proceed with it. And that helps you to get an understanding of where the person's coming from, what they like. I do think after your first experience is a good opportunity to sit down and talk it through, to say, okay, well, so kind of like how you did that thing that you did, and like that you did that thing that you did. I wasn't really feeling that other thing, but I like the other, and kind of speak through what I like to call the compliment sandwich. You start with the good. You go with something that's not necessarily what you like, and then you end with the good. Absolutely. Because you always want to end with something good.
With something
so it's a compliment
positive
sandwich
as well.
that you can do to talk through it.
I think, a lot of us need to just really start talking to our partners. And I also think that a lot of men in Jamaica really need to get over a lot of hang-ups they have. And it's not just that one hang-up I'm talking about, the Aishana special. No, I'm talking... I'm talking about intimacy on a whole. Like something as simple as I watched Ding Dong make a post with this guy named Queen's Flip, which is a practical joker guy, if anybody knows who Queen's Flip is. And Queen's Flip was doing one of his jokes where he's like going over to hug Ding Dong. So the whole skit was like Ding Dong and his friend instantly pushing him away, going, "Bad man, I did that. Hell, bump fist, when I did that." And it's like I'm watching it and I get the humor, but at the same time, I'm like, this is so sad.
Because, it's a reality.
Yeah, it's a reality, and it's sad because the fact that men feel a way about another man even hugging them. How can you possibly be able to put down a wall for a woman to really get? And we're not talking sex; we're talking intimacy.
That's where we have issues with intimacy within our culture, because that is an intimate thing.
It's
and hugging is
hugging your brother is very intimate. It's not sexual; it's intimate.
Well, here's the thing as well too. We if we don't do it with our sons, then we also don't do it with strangers. And when you don't do it with your sons grow up thinking that I shouldn't be hugged by another man because my father never hugged me, my grandfather never hugged me, my brothers never hugged me. So what y'all do? I try to hug me. So now you grow up thinking that, I remember one of the first times I hugged one of my brethren, I went up and we did, this like that, but then I let go and I grabbed him and I embraced him and gave him a hug. And he kind of hugged back, but I could see the look on his face like, he was confused. Okay, this is what we're doing. But guess what now? Every time we meet each other, we actually do embrace going forward. So he's gotten to that point of comfort, and I now see him doing it with other people as well. It's about letting down that guard that you speak about and allowing intimacy to come in, but not just that, Nikki, allowing love to come in. Yes, that's what I was going to ask you. Isn't there something more health beneficial mentally and physically to hugging in general? Oh, absolutely. The endorphins, the emotions, the chemicals that get released when you touch another human being, forget about hugging, touching another human being actually releases those feel-good emotions and feelings within you. And when you feel weirded out because a person hugged you, it's not because it's weird, it's just that feeling is foreign. Right. And you're not used to it. And you have to get used to the fact that this is okay. It is. I can accept this and it's fine. Touching another human being, we're not meant to be isolated human beings. We're meant to be touched, and we're meant to have touch. And it's not just touch of the opposite sex. I love hugging. I love hugging. I squeeze up all my friends. Shout out to my friend Lee. I love hugging her up. I mean, we're not judging. We're not judging. I don't care. That's what I'm saying. Listen, I don't care. People should learn that by now. I really don't care. Right. I'm going to do what I want to do, how I want to do, when I want to do it, and it just is what it is. But I know for a fact that, we as a people need to start hugging more. We need to start loving more. Grown people things. What does this say again? I'm going to go back to another quote. When I was a child, I acted like a child. I talked as a child. I behaved like a child. Now I'm a man. I do man things. I do grown-up things. And I don't speak as, bad man, no hug and this. No, we actually embrace each other, because embracing a friend is the purest form of showing love and emotion to that friend.
Absolutely.
And it's a purest form of showing someone that, hey, I love you. Why can't we say that to our friends? Why can't we say that to people in general that, hey, man, guess what? I do. Friends, we said it at the wedding. I said, Bridget, I love you, man. And, every one of my groomsmen, I made sure I said that to them during the wedding. And I could see some of them, even the ones still living in Jamaica.
Man, you love them. What this, man?
But hey, when they didn't reply back, guess what I said? Yo, Jeff, I love you, Bridget.
Yep.
And he's like, love you too, man. All right, good. We're good. And it's one of those things where we moved on from it. We never spoke about it, but we acknowledge it. And it's hugging someone, it's the onset, purest way of saying to someone, hey, I love you. I
care for you.
I
got you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. And that last part that you said,
I got
say that
you.
again, please.
I got you.
That's it.
That's all. I love my hugs. Like I said, I be hugging. That's what I hug strangers. COVID was horrible.
I'm not hugging strangers.
I hug strangers. I'm sorry. If I see I've done it. If I see somebody that just look like they need it, I've done it. Like, man. It's just one of those things because I like how it feels, so I know they kind of need it too.
I hear you.
But speaking of huggings, completely off the topic, but I feel like it's very important that we touch this, being that we're talking about this. There's been a lot of, hey, DJ Otley, mwah, 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 mwah. Anyway, back to the subject. Now, there's been a lot of violence happening with our kids. Like, even we just saw a kid stab their stepfather or something. It just came out in the news. Violence in the schools. Yeah, it's real crazy. I even heard they're bringing metal detectors to the school. I don't know how they got, those people to donate money for a metal detector, but allegedly, men are business. Shannon always trying to do his political backup. I don't care for your backup, because the truth is, if y'all could beg money or get money for detectors, then there should have been money to reconstruct these schools to stop looking like jail cells. They look like jail cells, so why do you expect the kids not to act like convicts when you put them in what looks like a prison cell? But that's another topic. I digress. My real issue right now is we've been locked up in COVID, and a lot of these kids have not been allowed to go out and interact with other kids in an adult setting, in a natural setting. Some kids have been locked up in the house because their parents got to work multiple jobs and they don't want nobody watching their kid or their kid outside, or some kids have been left to their own device. But the point of the matter is, without school, without being in that school, these kids have really been on their own devices for the past couple of years. And what we're seeing, in my opinion, and I want to hear yours now, is a reflection of not hugging, not working together, not having recess together, not having interactions together, and now being thrown right back into that cycle.
One of the biggest things about this pandemic and why so many mental health professionals were against it is because the isolation that it does and what that is having on people's social skills and their social adaptability. It really is doing a number. I know that there are people now that are claiming disability based on social situations because they were so removed for the last 2 years from interaction.
They got PTSD.
And now it's a little bit weird for them to go and interact with people. They're now having anxiety being around people.
Coach,
anxiety is a big thing that people are having.
It's me. I am them. They are me, and it's not a nice feeling, and I don't.
You hear someone cough. What do you do now? You hear someone sneeze. That anxiety that you're starting to feel.
No, let me be clear. There are people that have it worse than what I'm about to speak about. Like people who have it really bad, like what you're talking about, complete agora. What do you call it? Agoraphobia?
Agoraphobia. Yeah.
Agoraphobia. Complete agoraphobia. But I find that even when people, my industry friends call me and they say, hey, we're going to keep this around here, I'll even say I want to go, but just the thought of getting up and actually going there.
Being around all these people.
And it's for me, I've enjoyed the solitude of not having to worry about how I'm dressed, about not always having to do I've enjoyed a little bit of that part of COVID. So now I'm like, oh, you got to go back into the public. Everybody's staring at you. It becomes that game again. And for me, that's my hang up with going back into those public settings. I can go in a public with a bunch of campers and hippies and not think twice. But the actual industry crowd, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's like a struggle right now. I'm like, do I want to go back to that?
It is a real thing that's existing. And whether it's within the industry crowd, whether it's a mall, whether it's a grocery store, people are really experiencing a new form of agoraphobia where they are scared to be in public with people. They're scared of being close. If someone comes really close to them, they step away. And it's trained us to be in a way that we've never experienced before. Our social norms, our social acceptance, and just our ability to socialize has been taken away.
Absolutely.
And now people have to learn it. And it's the children. Can you imagine someone who started kindergarten and have never actually been to school?
Never.
Or started grade 1 and started it online and was never around?
Or in elementary school and now have to go to junior high or high school,
right.
you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a challenge that people are going with. So, you know, I will say this: fathers, please hug your sons.
Hug them.
And fathers, please kiss your sons. I kiss my sons all the time. My 15-year-old doesn't really like it too much, but guess what? Daddy's gonna
do it anyway.
I don't care what you say.
Yup.
You know, I mean, I'm not kissing him on the lips, but I'm still giving him a kiss, you know, and I'm giving him a hug. And I still find that even at 15, he grabs and holds my hand every once in a while. And I think he catches himself. He's like, oh, crap. Because it's become so comfortable for him and so normal. Give your children the gift of intimacy. Give your children the gift of emotions. Give your children the gift of love. And let them feel what it is to be loved by another person.
And teach them proper touches. Teach them proper touches as well. Because while we're saying intimacy and stuff, there's a bunch of disgusting, sickly predators that would hear this and hear what they want to hear. There are
and that's why they don't know what the difference is, because they never experienced any forms of touching. So now that they're being touched by someone, they're like, is this good? Okay? Is this not okay? And they need to know.
Exactly.
They need to know.
They need to know. Thank you, Coach.
And we also need to define intimacy to make sure, again, we speak about the gift of intimacy with your children and so on. Remember, intimacy is not sex.
Sexual.
They're two exclusive things. Intimacy with your partner could include sex, but a lot of times that's a part of intimacy. It's not being intimate only. Exactly. Intimacy could be just lying on the couch watching TV. Exactly. That's what you could be intimate with your spouse.
It could just be sitting across a dining table and having a conversation of meaning.
Absolutely. That's all. Intimacy with your children could be holding hands. It could be a hug. It could be an arm around the shoulder. It could be a kiss on the cheek. It could be you giving
them private time and saying to them, what was your day like? Tell me about that.
Exactly.
I want to know. That is intimacy.
These are things that we need to give our children, and we hold it from them, and then we wonder why they react in certain ways by stabbing and doing this, that, and the other. And it's, you know, we need to speak about these things more, Nikki. Stop talking about what happened with Chris Rock and start talking about the things that are happening around.
The slappy pappy.
Let's talk about the kids in Florida that shot each other recently in the bathroom.
Florida. Well, let's stick with Jamaica. I can give you a bunch of the scenarios over the past month alone. They're just stabbing and fighting, and it's like when fighting, you know, and that's what I'm saying. When I've been watching it, that's what I feel like. It's the reaction of, like, now they're being put in this tight spot again, which once again, most of the schools I've seen here look like jail cells. And I've seen
I agree. I remember my primary school looked exactly like a jail cell.
Exactly. And anybody who's in education knows that the environment is very conducive to how kids learn. So if we're already setting them up in a jail cell from early, you don't expect them to have the jail mentality. And then worse is, like, people don't realize how important education is. Education should be free in Jamaica, and everybody should be afforded the opportunity, because all of y'all complaining about all these criminals, but y'all don't understand. And yes, music does play a part, and I'm going to tell you why. If you sit down and you're not educated, once again, your brain is a computer. So that means your brain is now empty. You have nothing. So you're sitting down, drinking rum, smoking grabba, smoking weed, and then listening to killy music. So what do you think you're programming your mind to do?
Yeah. Whatever you practice is what you will end up preaching, you know. And
your brain is a computer.
Is exactly what I remember when I used to teach basketball. I said to kids, whatever you do in practice is what you'll do in the game.
All right.
And that's essentially what will happen as well too. Whatever you do at home is what you will do outside in the real world as well.
All right.
Or whatever you lack at home is what you'll go outside, not really being ready to receive it when it comes to you.
All right.
And it's a way that we have to. People don't want to parent their children anymore, and that's the problem. They want social media. They want
to blame the teachers.
They want the tablets. They want everything else to teach. The primary responsibility of educational children
is
our parents.
Mm-hmm.
It's not school.
Nope.
A parent is the primary responsibility for education of your children.
Absolutely.
Don't leave it to the school. Don't leave it to to TV. Don't leave it to anything else.
Definitely don't leave it to TV.
Responsible for their teaching and their education. So stop, leaving them to their own devices, as you said.
Or stop having a bag of babies that you don't want to actually sit down and spend the time to actually raise.
Or you can't afford to sit down.
Or you can't afford to sit down and raise. Amen. Say it again. Hey, say it again. Some of y'all can't even sit. Y'all have kids just to babysit y'all other kids. What's wrong with you?
Exactly.
It's not your kid's job to babysit your other kids.
Don't have them.
Don't have them.
and practice the things that prevent you from having them. And do the things
They
that
got
you
male
need to do
birth
to
control
stay.
now. You about to pop some pills?
Okay, so what are we talking about next?
I gotta go to commercial break. Give me your social media before we wrap up.
Take 2 steps forward. That's the way to get me online. Take2stepsforward.com. On Instagram is Take 2 Steps Forward. I'm always there.
Where are
Reach
you in the
out if
world?
you want to talk. I'm here for you.
Where are you in the world?
I'm in Orlando right now. I'm thinking about going to Mexico since somebody's talking about my vacation and it shouldn't be at home. So I think in the next couple of days, I might just hop on a plane and fly out. I haven't decided this yet, just to take a
Yes, you do
vacation.
that. You take a mini vacation. Go somewhere you haven't been before. Because I know you have a whole heap of psychology money stored up because you ain't really vacationing how you need to vacation. So, yeah.
I'm not. You're
Ah,
right.
yes. Take the wife. Go somewhere. Go to Shanghai. You know what I'm saying? Tell me how Shanghai go.
I don't have enough time for that one. That was. It needs 3 days just to get over the jet lag. You know,
You have time, make the time. Life is to live.
Life
if
is
you
too
have
short.
the money, do it. And I'm done with you, sir.
You are done with me. I will take it. I
Go
appreciate
forth
the
and
advice.
live life. And I will talk to you next week for sure.
We'll
Coach
talk next
Wayde
week.
on the
From
line.
Mexico.
Yeah.